Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CalfKick Sports. I'm Jermaine here with Lewis Collins, and we are here to talk about UFC 314, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes for the vacant featherweight championship. Who do you have in this amazing main event?
I honestly, see, if I'm honest, I think the first round will be close, and then I think after that, I think Volkanovski's got to run away with it, and I just don't think that Lopes has had enough time to sort of fight the same people at the same level as what Volkanovski has, and I think he's got a bit of a point to prove. The only thing that does sort of concern me for Volk is because obviously the last two fights have been as bad as he can get. He's obviously needing a win big time, but the worry is, what's it got to be like when he gets landed on? Because it will happen. As you know, like, he's obviously Diego's got a lot of power in that as well. So it's like one of them, when he lands, how's Volk got to react to it? Or is it got to... But personally, I think Volk, if he stays composed all the way through the fight and just weathers a hard first round, I think he'll run away with it. But it's one of the fights exciting. But I think it's got Volk written over later, either finishing later rounds or a by decision. If not, I think if Diego's got to win, I think it'll be the first round.
It's got to be the first round for Diego. He's got that puncher's chance. He's going to come forward with those wild hooks. All right. And he's super quick with it. But for me, I feel like Alex's like movement, all right, he's not going to be there for Lopes. He's going to be in and out, pop, pop, and then just out of there. He's going to be circling around him. And even if it gets to the ground, I think Volkanovski he's competent enough on the ground to not get subbed. I don't think Lopes is going to be stronger than him in those positions. I think he'll be able to survive if it goes to the ground, and that's just going to make Lopes more tired. And that's going to lead into like a third, fourth round knockout from my boy Volkanovski. I think Volk is going to run away with this one. I love Lopes. I've been rooting for Lopes this entire time.
I don't know, it just feels a weird fight because of the way Ilya's left the title and he's beat Volk in the manner he did. And other than Ilya, you think Volk's the man at featherweight. But he's
other than Mobstar.
Well, that's another conversation. I'm surprised he's not been the one inserted, but
he's fighting Aaron Pico.
I thought that's a really an Apex as well
crazy.
Like, a really random one which is a decent fight, to be honest, but that should be on a pay-per-view or even just a fight night with a crowd. It's like the Apex cards, honestly, I could spend the next half an hour talking about that alone. Like, just put in an arena. The arena doesn't have to be 20,000 people every time. It can be small arenas, start around the world, but back on topic anyway. But I think it's got a bit of a shadow over it with the Volkanovski and Ilya fight. If Volk does get the job done, especially convincingly, even though Ilya has dropped that title, I want to see Volk just say, come back for one more with Volk, certify it, and just say, right, last time you caught me at a good time. Because Volk, it was a close fight with Volk and Ilya the first round.
No, the first round was pretty good. I thought he was going to knock Volk out, mainly because of the timing of everything, you know. But Volk looked good in the first round, and then that chin got touched. But he came off the knockout with Islam, so even if Lopes like touches the chin, I feel like people are looking at those fights and they're like, oh, his chin's done. There's no evidence of that. If it happens in this fight, then I'll say the chin is done. But he's had over a year off to recover. Volk is going to come in there ready to go. He's got something to prove.
Thing is, as well, we've seen people who are a lot worse. Don't get me wrong, the knockouts weren't great. It's obviously not a bad note, but we've seen a lot worse knockouts than that, and people come back and they're fine for the rest of their career. Or even the worry is, you do see a lot. It happens to a lot of fighters once they do get touched quite a few times bad. But I just think Ilya's just got that power, and I just think Islam just lands a clean shot. I just think Ilya's so clean with it. His techniques, didn't get wrong. Lopes is obviously great. Great stand up, good jiu-jitsu and whatnot. But I didn't think he carries anywhere near the power as what Ilya does, or technique. And I think Ilya is just one of the guys. I think if Ilya hits most people, and featherweight anyway, probably in lightweight as well, he's got to sleep them. And it's just seen how Volk bounces back for it. But think he's got to come back hungry. I think he actually might be a bit more aggressive than he normally is, sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is, I think you're right though. What I said, the first round, I think you'll know sort of after gets through the first round and then go right. I think Volk will just turn the gas up round by round by round.
I think it's going to look a lot like the Ortega fight when Volk fought Ortega. Yeah. It's going to look like that.
And then just sort of wear on. Because at the end of the day, has Diego Lopes been 5 rounds before? I'm trying to think if he has.
I don't think he has.
No.
Because he hasn't really had a main event.
No, it's not exactly. Yeah, it's been so. At the end of the day, and having a 5-round fight with anybody is one thing, but then with Volk, who turns it on, he's been 5 rounds with Max Holloway. How many times? I think how many rounds he's spent with him, and Max is one of the best volume fighters, maybe ever, to wear on people. So I didn't see a way unless Lopes catches him in the pocket to find. I've got Volk all day, to be honest. I think it's got to be. I don't think it's got to be as close as what people think. I think Volk's got to make it look fairly easy in the later rounds.
Volk is going to dominate. And I hate it because I am a Lopes fan. Yeah, but this is just a bad fight for him. I think he loses to Mobsar too. Yeah. In fact, I think both of these guys are just placeholders for Mobsar and his eventual title reign. It's just a matter of time, in my opinion.
He's definitely coming. I think it's similar to like the Ankalaev fight. You think right now he's got to get a title shot, and then they slide one in. And then but the thing is, the UFC, you know what they're like? They're like obviously thinking they've put him obviously in another matchup. So if he wins that, I think there's no denying they have to get him at. But the winner of this, I do think if Volk wins, it's just got to call Ilya out. And I think Ilya's mindset might be like, you know what? I want to prove it wrong because everyone's got to say, right, I caught him clean at a good time. And Ilya might want to prove himself wrong, prove everyone wrong. But it doesn't feel like a title fight. It's a strange one. I don't know what it is.
Because you got to beat the champion. Exactly. And the champion was like, I'm done with this. You guys are nothing for me.
Ilya's smart like that as well. You know what I mean? Like he's not that, like he thinks of these things as well. It's like the winner, no matter what, he can still say, no, I'm basically still champ.
I think Ilya beats both of these guys, and if he beats Volk in a rematch, I think if he, like, I'm looking at the last weekend's fight with Lerone Murphy. I'm like, dude, Lerone would get knocked out by Ilia Topuria. All right, like Ilya has nothing to prove at 145.
The thing is, it's been the same guys for so long at 145, and then we get Ilya who comes along, spices things up, takes the belt, and then he just boosts and leaves, and then he's just so it's back to like obviously with Lopes and like Evloev, and there's other fighters coming up as well, but it's a different era now. But Volkanovski's still hanging in there, and if he gets the title back, then who knows? He might go on another massive run. Wouldn't it surprise me if anyone's got to do it? I think Volk would.
So the two of us are both going Volk in this one.
Volk.
And then I want to say that when I spoke to Ash on the other day, he said he's going with Lopes to knock out Volkanovski. So I just want to put that out there.
I wouldn't be surprised, but if that happens, it has to be first 2 rounds, I think.
First 2 rounds.
Max.
If it goes past the second round, it's over for Lopes. That's how I feel.
Definitely. Might prove us wrong, but it would be quite nice to be honest. As much as I love Volk and I would take to see him lose, it would be quite refreshing to see someone else get the title. Especially someone with his style.
Yeah, it would be nice. But I think the next guy is Mobsar. It might not be Lopes. And I don't think Lopes can beat Mobsar.
No.
I think Mobsar is just that good. But moving on, ladies and gentlemen, in the co-main event, right? We got 5-round co-main event between Iron Michael Chandler and Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Who do you have in this fight?
Do you know what? I can't remember the last time I was watching a fight, and obviously you know what all the British people are like. We all back their own. Especially Paddy. I've always loved, even in Cage Warriors days with Paddy. I would love nothing more than Paddy to go and beat Michael Chandler. I just didn't see how it happens. I just think unless he catches him in a sub, like Poirier did sort of thing, but I don't know if it's just because the fights we've seen him at fighting higher level people, they've no, like the one with Bobby Green, it was over and he subbed him before you got a chance to sort of see anything. I mean, I'll be honest, I want to see Paddy get it done. I would love nothing more, and I hope he does. I'm being biased. Saying that, Paddy, second round submission. Chandler's good. But Chandler, I think Chandler could sleep him. That's my concern. But
Scousers don't get knocked out.
Well, unfortunately they do, because until we thought he was the next big thing, and then look what happened to him. Another one of my favourite fighters as well. But now I think obviously Paddy's got a lot to prove. And I think Paddy's got better stand-up than what people give him credit for as well.
He does. He's a lot better stand-up. And I think Michael Chandler's stand-up is overrated.
Yeah.
He was getting pieced up by Ferguson.
Well, he's got that fit. He's just got that power. He's just got that explosiveness power. And it's one of them. If you know what he's got to do, like, he's just got to fit. And he's not got to wrestle. I doubt he's got to wrestle. He never does. He should.
And that's a bad idea.
But I think all the fights he's had, similar to Oliveira, Paddy's obviously got a different type of grappling game, but it's awkward. I remember Paddy talking about his fighting style as a whole. I don't know if it's before he made his UFC debut, I think it was, and he was saying, I've got a weird style, stand up and in the grappling, I'm different. The way I do everything is, I'd love nothing more to Paddy just to come out. I think he just needs to, like, stay focused and not get dragged into a dogfight, because Chandler's been there with everyone with the dogfights. But what do you reckon? Who do you think takes that?
So Paddy's been talking like, oh, we're going to have a good scrap on the feet. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's maybe for a second, and then Paddy's going to take him down. Mm-hmm. And I think Chandler's going to find out that Paddy's jiu-jitsu is a lot better than he thinks it is. I think Paddy gets it done by the second round via submission is what I have for Paddy. I don't think it goes a full 5 rounds.
I love that. I'll probably wake my whole street up if that happens. We'll have the Paddy wig and everything on. But, I've got a bad feeling. I mean, I get like that with all my favourite fighters and that, like especially all the British fighters. Even though if they're the clear-cut favourite, I get really nervous, like watching the football. I doubt myself and I'm like, oh, can he not? I can't see a path of victory. But I mean, Paddy's well-rounded too. I think because of the way he acts, and he has got a weird style, people didn't realise how good he actually is, especially in the grappling, mate. He's absolute elite jiu-jitsu. And I think Paddy Chandler will underestimate that, but I think he will underestimate his stand-up as well. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Paddy caught him with some jumping switch kick or something weird on the feet, landed and hurt him. But
the reach isn't that. He's only got like a 1.5 inch reach advantage.
That's what it is. I thought it would have been more, actually.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm. Paddy seemed massive in the fight with Bobby Green. He seemed huge. He is big, but he's not like... He did fight at featherweight before as well.
8 years younger than Michael Chandler.
Exactly. Chandler's chin's ready to go. He's been clocked for everyone, and we're yet to see him like proper get sleeped in the UFC. So I would look. I think it will either be Paddy decision or submission. I didn't think Paddy will knock him out as much as I like to see it. I reckon Paddy's got to catch him in a submission.
I think they're definitely going to be grappling for a lot of this fight. I think that's where this fight is going to play out. Paddy doesn't want to stand with that dude in the first round.
Yeah,
he's going to be too powerful in the first round, but
yeah,
it's going to play out on the ground, and I got Paddy be a second round submission.
I'll agree with you. I'll say third round submission. Third round submission. Later, when Chandler starts to get sloppy and tired, they'll end up in a scramble, and I think Paddy will catch him there.
I'm biased though. I can't stand Michael Chandler, so like I'm gonna be open about that. I want him to lose every time I see him. So
you'll have the Paddy hat on too.
I wish I had one, but I have to take it off. I don't want to look like Bryce Mitchell. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, speaking of Bryce,
put the wig on and I look like Bryce Mitchell out here. It was a nice guy. I'd go fishing with him beforehand.
Oh, then he get started on poor Bryce.
Yeah, but speaking of Bryce Mitchell, and also on this main card, we have Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell versus John Lord Silva. Now, this fight I'm pretty excited about. I'm really, honestly, I think it's 50-50. It's 50-50, but who do you have in this one?
As you say, 50-50, but I think it's either got to go one or two ways. I think if Bryce has got to win, I think it's got to be either by grappling him and maybe catching him in a submission, something like that. I don't think Bryce is going to knock him out or beat him in the stand up. I think he will go in there. See, to be honest, I'm looking forward to the fight, but I'm actually more looking forward to the press conference on Thursday to see the two of them but I seen Bryce said that he was getting demons and stuff like that. He was sending demons into his dream and that, and he's just like it's one of these fights. It's just I've got to be. They're both absolute wild, and that's
I saw Silva fight in Denver when he fought Drew Dober. He was a wild man. He's just doing all this weird taunting, and I'm just like, dude, you're gonna get knocked out. But no,
he's got power as well, though. That's the thing. And we've seen Bryce get hit. Bryce can be hit, and the thing is, it's just one of the fights where I guess similar to like an old school striker versus grappler, even though both of them can sort of hang either way. But I think Bryce has definitely got to be going for the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu grappling. But I think either Silva by knockout or Bryce by decision or submission. I think there's got to be a lot of memes though if Bryce gets put to sleep.
Hopefully, if he gets put to sleep, then there's a lot of memes. I was seeing I think maybe the Weasel tweeted out about it. Somebody tweeted like how in last weekend's card, I picked Joe Anderson Brito to beat Pat Sabatini, but the grappling was way too much, and he just completely dominated Brito like Sabatini. And it's like this fight could be exactly like that. Like we think the Brazilian with the power is gonna knock the grappler out, but it could just be an entire wrestle fuck for 3 rounds.
It could be, aye.
And I personally don't know what Silva looks like on the ground. I'd have to do some research.
He fought somebody. Who was it he fought? And I'm sure it got controlled for a bit on the ground. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember who it was.
Was he able to get back up?
I'm sure he could, but I'm sure he was got back up.
Maybe Jourdain.
I can't actually remember who it was. Was it Jourdain maybe?
That fight went into the second round at least.
It wasn't like overwhelmingly, he can't wrestle. Or I'm trying to remember what fight it was. I remember watching it live, but I mean, I think it was Jourdain, but I can't remember. They quote me on that. But then Bryce has got good wrestling, good grappling and stuff like that.
And he's got underrated striking.
He does. It's unorthodox as well. He's one of them, and because it's one of them, if he gets something early and controls him, maybe goes into the second round, maybe does some damage with him, it's got to have him thinking. It's the same with all that. Like when you see a good wrestler, a good wrestler can beat a good striker in the stand-up because they're so worried about the takedown. Mm-hmm. It might be another case like that. I've got a really weird feeling that Bryce is going to get knocked out cold though, just for everything that's happened and all his comments recently. I just think MMA is a weird sport that way, that if you come out with that type of stuff, you only end up going one way. It's like, and the guy's lost his mind.
The worst possible thing is that he becomes champion one day after this whole Hitler rant. Like, upon so much other nonsense he was saying in that, like, so the best thing for everyone is Bryce Mitchell gets knocked the fuck out.
I think so.
That's what I hope happens. He's only got 2 losses to Josh Emmett and Ilya.
Ilya punched him for the pull out the post and submitted him, I'm sure. And then Emmett obviously had him twitching. But the thing, Bryce is just one of these guys. He honestly, admit what Dana says about, he might be the stupidest fighter there's ever been. Like, because he actually believes in it. The thing, he doesn't want to wear seat belts. The earth's flat. We live in a dome. He would like to go fishing with Hitler. But the thing, it was the way he was trying to stick by his story. Like, I'm not saying he was a good guy. No, I'm not saying he was perfect. That's what he kept saying. But I believe he was a good. I'm not saying he was perfect. And he was on there. I seen him with MMA Guru the other day there. And he said something. What was it he said? He said Hitler done some dumb shit too. He was like, he tried to invade Russia in the winter. Like, you expect him to like go back on it, but nah, he's just. I didn't even think he's got the mindset like an evil person. I think he's just that thick. I think he's just that stupid.
He always like references like, my mom never did this. My mom told me that. I'm like, dude, I'd love to meet this woman.
Oh man, I could imagine. He's like, but then he's saying he's got to homeschool his son and all that. Like, what chances he got? Like,
no vaccines or anything.
Child services will be on the 40. Bryce after this fight.
Everybody's at the daycare, wherever his child goes, is gonna get the measles. Like they go to the playground. It's gonna. A lot of things are gonna happen.
He's lost his mind, but I can see him getting absolutely slept in this fight. I just think it's got to be one of these fights. It's just the way MMA karma seems to work out. Normally, this type of thing ends in one way. Because if he does win, if he wins and jumps on that mic, I wouldn't surprise me if he wins and they just go to a commercial and just skip on to the next fight.
Nah, I think I saw something where he was like, "Don't cut my mic" or some shit.
They got
and it's like, dude.
Honestly, the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if he does win, he double downs on everything and just goes full throttle because he is just that thick. Or they'll maybe know that about the Hitler situation. He'd come out with something else ridiculously stupid. Or he seems to be hating Elon Musk recently.
Oh, really?
He hates Elon Musk. I thought he would like Elon Musk.
Yeah, I thought he seems like he'd love Elon Musk.
He absolutely hates. He thinks Elon Musk's got it all planned out that he's got to rule the world and he's got to be the only king in the world. And but which surprised me because he's a Trump man and things like that. But
all you got to do is turn those videos, those documentaries off for a little bit. Go outside.
But that's the problem. He lives in the middle of nowhere on his own, building stuff with all his animals. And he was like, he thinks the government's all the processed foods out there to poison him, and he thinks people's watching him and that. I don't know if he's. I don't know. I'm intrigued to know if he's always been that mental, or if he's had too many punches to the head, or if he's just a pure hillbilly. I think that's probably what.
Just straight up hillbilly. Like he comes off as a hillbilly to me. Like if I had to like just make a stereotypical hillbilly, it'd be just like him, fighting all the time, like just crazy ideas. It's Bryce Mitchell.
Remember the photo when he was in his fight shorts and he had his fight shorts on and he had like crocodile boots on? Like instead he just, most fighters have their bare feet and just shadow box them with the gloves and they had the big stupid boots on.
Nah, man, he's one of a kind.
He is. He's unique.
Yeah, but he's out of his mind.
He needs knocked out. That's the problem.
So I'm definitely rolling with John Silva in that one. Nothing can allow me to roll with Bryce.
Nah, he's fucked it for everyone. He's not going to have any fans anymore. Well, the scary thing is he probably does. That's the worrying thing.
No, there's probably a lot of people that agreed with that podcast. Like, disgusting. I don't think he's put out another one since.
I'm not sure.
I think he said he was going to, but I don't think I've seen a new episode.
It was the one. It's his co-host's face when he's coming out. You could just see the absolute sheer devastation. You could just imagine it. He's probably gone through everywhere. He's thinking, "How can I get out of this podcast?
How did I get here?
Like, how did I get here?" Like that's what I was thinking about when I was watching. I was like, I wonder what he's like. Maybe thought they're going to talk about fighting and gone fishing. There's not gone fishing with Hitler anyway. But he's lost his mind. And honestly, nothing would surprise me with him anymore because he is what Sean Strickland acts like, but for real. Like he's the real Sean Strickland. He's what Sean Strickland would like to be, I think.
Yeah, Sean Strickland's putting on an act, and that's Bryce Mitchell is. You're 100% right.
Bryce is just that old hillbilly that's right now as we talk. He'll be chasing some chicken about a field somewhere, and his bare feet.
Moving on from this redneck, making his UFC debut, we have Patricio Pitbull taking on Yair Rodriguez, El Pantera. Who do you have in this debut for Patricio Pitbull?
I think it's a few years too late for him, to be honest. I think if this was even 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it'd be a slightly different conversation. But especially fighting somewhere like Yair, like he's too slick on the feet, he's too fast. I just can't see Pitbull getting close to him. I think he's just got to. Anytime he's got to try to enter, he's just got to get kicked either in the head, in the body. It's got to be too much for him. And although he's been on the block, even though he's no fought in the UFC, he's fought a lot of eagle fighters, but he's no fought anyone like Yair that can move like him. And in the big stage at this part of his career, as I said, 4 years ago, I think it might have been a slightly different fight. But I'd be very surprised I'd be surprised if he goes the distance. To be honest, I would not.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets. I've got visions of a big head kick catching him, or just I'm staying on the outside getting body kicked, and then just getting knocked clean out. But I mean, he was a good fighter. He still is a good fighter, obviously. But I just think it's too late in his career to be making a move over to UFC. I'd be good to be proven wrong. It would be to spice it up a bit. But I just think Yair's just too slick on the feet and his kicks are just too much.
Yeah, it might have been too late. I remember like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, where he was talking like he wanted to come to UFC. But Dana was just kind of like, didn't want anything to do with any like Bellator guys back in those days. I was surprised when Michael Chandler was signed.
Exactly.
You know, it seemed like MVP was never going to come over there because he hated Bellator guys, is what it seemed like. But now he's here. He's 37. He's going to turn 38 in a few months. What'd you say?
I'm sure. I thought he was older in my mind because he's been around for so long.
Yeah. Only 37. You know what I'm saying? Only 37. Yair 32. There's a 7 or a 6-inch reach disadvantage for Patricio Pitbull. He's 5'6" versus 5'11". All right. So there's a lot of disadvantages, a lot of things coming against him. I think it might be a little too late, or maybe if he puts the proper pressure, makes this fight dirty. I feel like sometimes Yair can wilt a bit in there when the pressure gets a little too much. If someone is properly cutting off the octagon, you know, I think it could cause him to make some bad decisions. He'll just kind of make a mistake. I think Patricio can put that pressure on him and get him to make a mistake. Like we saw, there's no reason why Yair should have lost to Brian Ortega. No. All right. He should have won that fight. Yeah. He had full control, but nope. Like he blew his wad and like Ortega just took over that fight. Like, and I think Patricio Pitbull can put that pressure on him. Volk is, you know, there's the size difference with Volk. Volk was able to stop him with the strikes, just the pressure on him. He was just too much for him, and I think that potentially could happen. So I am going to side with Patricio Pitbull to get it done in his UFC debut. I love the way he's talking. He's calling out Aljamain Sterling. He's calling out all these people, dude. I love it.
I think the way you described it is how he needs to win. He needs to just get right in his face, no give him any kicking space, because his Yair kicks are just out of this world, one of the best. He needs to crowd him, just not let him give him any space to throw any of the kicks, and just as you say, I think he just wants to keep it straight boxing and boxing range, and maybe even try to mix it up and try to take him down or whatever.
Take him down.
I think he has to, but I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, actually, if Pitbull was to win. But I just think it is 3-4 years ago, I think Pitbull would have won this. I genuinely do, without getting caught. But I just think this late in his career, he's left it too late. And at the end of the day, he's fought so many different people, so how many fights, crazy amount of fights. And I think the speed is what's got to kill him with Yair. He's just got to be too fast for him.
This is going to be his 44th professional fight.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. And obviously, and he's been, even though it's not the UFC, considering if you're fighting outside the UFC, he's fought at the highest level that you can possibly when you're not fighting in the UFC. So he's been fighting for years. He's fought a lot of people outside. He's fought Chandler. You know what I mean? He's fought a lot of good people. But
knocked out Chandler.
Exactly, aye. And that's maybe prime Chandler then, maybe not quite as
not as quite as Iron Michael Chandler.
I would say maybe when Chandler was just a bit more. Now Chandler's all about the scraps, like trying to think. It's always been sorted, but I just think Pitbull at this stage of his career, I think he's just left it a couple of years too late. I kind of hope I'm proven wrong, to be honest, because it spices it up, and there's a lot of matchups that'd be interesting to see him in. I'd
like to see him versus Aljo.
That'd be exciting. I think Aljo might be one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC.
He is, definitely.
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand the hate either.
I didn't understand it. I mean, he got hit with an illegal knee. Okay.
Exactly.
He didn't break the rules. Okay. Whatever happened after that happened. It's not his fault.
Exactly.
Okay. And then he went and he dominated Jan
in the second,
in the
and then
rematch. So, like,
aye.
and they still hated him for that.
The one he got, who was it? He got a bit more of a cheer in his last fight. The crowd was sort of cheering him a bit. Like, he's a nice guy. He's down to earth. He's humble. He's a good fighter. I know he's a grappler, heavy fighter, but he's always looking for submissions and that. He's not really one of these fighters that's just looking to hold somebody against the cage.
He's always like trying to advance position, look to choke, take the back. He's always working down there. He's active, hitting you with elbows. He's always active on the ground. So I never understood the hate with Aljo.
I like Aljo. He's one of my favourite fighters, to be honest. I feel bad on him. I just think it's so unfair the treatment he's got for the fans. But that's what the MMA fans are like, though. They're just, it's a horrible fan base, to be honest.
Dude, I'm looking at this. I'm looking down the fight card, and Jim Miller. He's got 56 professional fights. He's fighting Chase Hooper for his 57th professional fight. This is nuts.
I think he knocked Chase Hooper out.
You think so? I think Chase knocked him out.
Oh, I did. I still see Chase. I just want to feed him. Like, it just seems so like it's like he needs a good grub. It's just so he's bald. It's just, I don't know. He's bald like a 13-year-old.
Yeah, he's putting muscle on. He's been looking better at lightweight. A lot better than featherweight. What is he on? A 2-fight win streak.
He's been in the UFC for since he was so young, I think, as well. So you forget, like, he's still young. He's just been in the UFC for a long time.
He finished Slava Claus, or actually, he's not on a 2. He's on a 5-fight, no, a 4-fight win streak. 4-fight. He lost to Aljo in a grappling match at ADXC. That's where I was confused. But he beat Nick Dior, Jordan Levitt, Slava Claus, and Clay Guida. So he's, Chase is looking pretty good right now.
It'd be good to see him getting a win. I've just got a feeling Jim's got one last in it. Well, I say one last. I didn't think he'll ever have one last in him. He's got to be fighting for another 10 years, I think.
He's going to be at UFC 400, man.
Probably. Would not surprise me. 3 years' time, 4 years' time, whatever it will be.
Insane. Any more fights on this card you want to shout out?
There's nothing really that stands out. I think the main card just steals it with the main event and co-main event are absolute both bangers. So it's just sort of, there is obviously some other fights that take your imagination, but the one I'm looking forward to the most is definitely Paddy and Chandler. I'm intrigued to see how that one plays out. Is it with all the fights on the card? What are you the most looking forward to?
I say on the main card, one fight I'm personally interested in because I like women's MMA. I love women's MMA. Werner Jandiroba versus Yan Xiaonan. I think that's going to be the #1 contender fight there. I think that's a pretty exciting match. I think Werner Jandiroba gives Zhang Weili a pretty tough fight. So I would love to see her get it done and fight Zhang Weili next. I'd say on the main card, I'm most interested in seeing my boy Patty the Batty Pimblett submit Michael Chandler. Let's get it done, Patty.
Patty's got to smoke him.
He's got to smoke it, hopefully.
Hopefully. If not,
anything can happen.
It's MMA at the end of the day. As long as Chandler doesn't catch him with one big Hail Mary, then I think he's got to be all right.
Oh, yeah. But thank you guys for joining us for this UFC 314 preview. And hopefully you guys can join us Saturday for a watch along. Yeah. I am once again Jermaine Event. And I'm here with my boy Lewis Collins MMA. Thank you guys for being here.
Right. Cheers, guys.
See you next time.
See you Saturday.